are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm a night owl, but work
So,
has made me,
mhm.
become a morning person. But my heart is a night owl. You have to eat whole unprocessed food. You can't be like eating the worst. Fast food is probably the worst like health crisis facing the American people.
Exactly.
I love what you're doing with the morning person community because for years I've wanted to be a morning person because I feel if you can become a morning person and get up earlier, by 7:30 I'm having my good night cup of tea.
Hoping you're drinking a decaf tea or something.
Yeah, I drink herbal tea. Yeah,
Okay.
chamomile, or I make in the winter I do golden milk. With your community, would you incorporate? I know you want to start it digitally first, and I like the idea of a morning person community because if you're not getting that nightlife, it's fun to have a social aspect to your morning.
Slow and steady is the fastest way to achieve anything.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, and if you're surrounded by people who are not a morning persons, you feel discouraged to be a morning person.
Right. You
So
feel like you're being like old or
exactly,
boring,
exactly.
because you're waking up early to get things done and everyone else is staying up late at the bar
Exactly.
having fun. But a lot of morning people are dog owners, right? Because they have to wake up to walk their dog.
That's interesting point. I mean, I did not think of pet owners initially because I don't have a pet, so
Yeah.
that's a good perspective.
But
That's why I'm like trying to brainstorm with others. So let's start. So
my name is Marisa Creed and Mahesh is having me brainstorm
yeah.
on the fly.
So we are working on morning person community that we are still trying to launch in January. It's a kind of discussion group for a community of people who are trying to be a morning person or who are already a morning person to have a sense of community that can encourage people to do what they want to do and try to find their purpose, goals, and give some little support on whatever they are doing on here. So to start with our brainstorm, I'm thinking of a few ideas for the morning person community. Before we start, are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm a night owl.
Right.
But work
So,
has made me,
mhm.
become a morning person. But my heart is a night owl.
Okay, that's interesting. So, how's your daily routine
Well,
being a night owl
right.
and being an early bird?
So when I was running my own business and could keep my own hours, my business was a nighttime art market. So it was open till 1 a.m. So I would be up till 2:30 a.m. running my business, and then I would sleep till like 9:30, 10, and have a later start to my day. But once I decided to get another job in tandem with my business, it made me have to be a morning person to come to work by 9 a.m. I get up at 7, meditate, do some yoga, and get ready for work. But I love what you're doing with the morning person community because for years I've wanted to be a morning person because I feel if you can become a morning person and get up earlier, especially if you like, I want to have more time in the morning to meditate, to do yoga, to start my day that way. And then I feel your day is off to a really good start and you just seem to accomplish so much more like toward your personal goals as well as whatever your paid work is if you're a morning person. It seems to be that way because
Nice, yeah.
yeah, and so that's why I like what you're doing. And I'm striving to become more of a morning person. Like I want to be able to wake up at 6 a.m.
Nice.
because I want a full like 45 minutes of yoga. And so I'm getting there. I'm trying to wake up 10 or 15 minutes earlier every couple of days to try to like slowly get to that really early morning wake up.
Nice, nice, interesting. So, how does your nighttime routine as a morning person?
So now that I'm on a morning schedule, my nighttime routine is I drink tea and start to relax at 7:30. I eat an early dinner like 6 p.m.,
Nice.
6:30, and I don't eat too heavy at a dinner. And then by 7:30, I'm having my goodnight cup of tea, and then I will go to bed by 8:30. But I usually listen to an hour of a podcast in bed, but I'm definitely falling asleep by 10 p.m.
Nice, that's interesting. So I'm hoping you're drinking a decaf tea or something.
Yeah, I drink herbal tea. Yeah,
Okay.
chamomile, or I make in the winter I do golden milk.
Nice, nice. From my perspective, why I'm starting this morning person community. So I think COVID lockdown has a great effect on me wanting to be a morning person. So during the lockdown period, I was working for an IT company,
Okay.
and my schedule is like my work schedule is afternoon to night,
Okay.
and
You were a night owl.
kind of, but I tried waking up in the morning because at home, my parents wake up early in the morning, super early in the morning.
Right.
Like they wake up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and that triggered me. So I started waking up early in the morning, and I see some differences too. So since my work starts at afternoon, like 12 p.m., 1 p.m., something like that, I got a lot of time in the morning.
Yeah.
That gave me opportunity to discover myself and try to learn new things, everything. Like, I mean, I felt like I have more time to do things.
Like you had time to work on your personal goals.
Exactly, exactly.
Right.
Apart from work, I felt like that I have some kind of free time and do more things. But the downside of it, since I'm working until night,
Right.
I don't have evening time though. So that's kind of disadvantage. But morning time actually helped me. So
what about your sleep? Or you
sleep,
getting...
I sleep around like 11, 12. 12 is the maximum.
Okay.
I try to sleep by 11.
Okay.
So that's how it started. And right now it's like I'm trying to wake up 6:30 in the morning and doing some works, rushing like everybody to the work.
Right.
And going back and trying to sleep around 11 o'clock, and it's getting extended until 12. Yeah, sometimes I actually sleep 10:30, 11 some that time.
So are you getting enough sleep as a morning person?
I can say,
like, do you feel energized in the morning when you wake up, or do you feel like you wish you could sleep longer?
Sometimes I wish I could sleep longer. It's like if I get more than around 7 hours of sleep, I feel like, okay, that's enough. Like,
yeah,
I can be productive in the morning. I didn't feel more sleepy or lazy when I was waking up. So it depends on person to person. Some might feel energized sleeping 6 hours. Some might feel energized feeling 7 hours, 8 hours, something.
Right.
So
I do think like how you said you don't have the night. That's one thing. Like my best friend for 20 years now, he always managed a coffee shop, and so he always had to be at work at 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. So he would, but he was a natural morning person. He loved the morning. He loved being awake in the morning, but he never could go out at night with us to clubs or bars or, any of the things. He would like want to go to bed at 9 p.m. because he woke up so early.
exactly.
So the trade-off of being a morning person is you don't always go out at night to do like the fun nighttime things that people do.
Exactly.
Which was the transition for me too, because when I was running the nighttime business, I was seeing music at night. I was going to the bar with people at night. and I had this really robust nightlife, social life that was very exciting, really fun. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like an old lady because to wake up early in the morning, I go to bed early, so I'm missing out on that nighttime social life. But I do think it's physically healthier maybe for you.
Exactly. I mean, I'm seeing something related to biological health that was linked to sunrise and sunset.
Oh, like your circadian rhythms and
kind of, maybe I have to do more research on that. I'm just checking on that. So
okay.
Our eating habits also have effect on our biological health or gut health, depending on what time we are eating and based on the sunrise and based on the sunset.
Interesting.
And I got to know that when the sun is at its peaks, our digestive system work at its peaks.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't realize we were connected to
So
circadian rhythms like that with our digestion. That's so interesting.
Exactly. So all this knowledge I gained from some listening to some other podcasts from doctors and people who are experts in their field. It's like starting from sunrise, our gut health is like at its peak, and gradually, when it is close to sunset, our digestive systems reduces its efforts of digesting the food.
That makes sense, though. It would slow down because
Exactly.
it's thinking it's nighttime, you're going to go to sleep soon.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't be using your system. So, with your community, would you incorporate? I know you want to start it digitally first. And I like the idea of a morning person community because if you're not getting that nightlife, it's fun to have a social aspect to your morning.
Exactly. So the main idea of it is like when people are blindly thinking that being a morning person is helpful, productive, or something like that, but on the other end, people are not having enough sleep, and in this scenario, like if they're sleeping at 1 o'clock, 2 a.m. in the morning, something like that, and they're trying to wake up again at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., something like that, and they're thinking that morning, being a morning person or waking up early in the morning is not helpful for them.
Right. But it's because they're not getting enough sleep.
Exactly. So everything is getting interlinked here, and the perception is also getting changed. Uh, Also, some people, when they don't have a kind of encouraging hands or a community that also wants to wake up early in the morning or being a morning person,
Yeah.
and if you're surrounded by people who are not a morning persons, you feel discouraged to be a morning person.
Right. You feel like you're being like old or
Exactly.
boring, because you're waking up early to get things done and everyone else is staying up late at the bar having fun. But that's why I like the idea of a morning group community and maybe like once a month meeting in person to do morning yoga at the park or a group meditation at the park, like at 7:30 a.m., like for morning people to like be able to have a social function like that, like even if it was just once a month and the rest of the group was digital, I think that would be cool.
Exactly. So the main reason is I just want to start this community as soon as possible. So that's why I just trying to start this as a discussion group.
Yeah.
Where people can meet digitally in the beginning based on the responses and based on the community's interest. I might take this to offline discussion groups as well.
Yeah.
Making once a month digital, once a month in person meetup, something like that.
I think that would be great.
Exactly. That's the expectations I'm planning on. So the main agenda of the discussion group is just to get together as a community of morning persons. And I also want to educate people who want to be a morning person.
Yeah, how to change their rhythms, how to change their habits.
Exactly. So
educate me.
yeah. So the perception around the people, like the perception that people have, as we are discussing earlier, sleeping late at night and waking up early in the morning, that's not productive.
Right.
And so that's one of the goal in the education I'm trying to put on in the discussion group.
And also, like you were saying about your digestion, to be a successful morning person, you have to eat a light meal for dinner.
Exactly.
That is earlier. Mm-hmm. Like if you're even if you don't eat a light meal, like if you're eating a regular meal, mm-hmm. whatever you want to eat, but you're eating it at 8:00 at night, mm-hmm. you're not going to be digesting that food until midnight, 12:30. So your body is still not going to be in that deep sleep. Mm-hmm. And so you really want to, if you want to be a morning person who's like up and out of your house functioning at 7:30, instead of waking up at 7, like you're actually out, like ready to go for 7:30, you need to eat your dinner at like 6, 6:30, 5:30. 5:30, 6:30.
Now, I also want to touch base on that. Like, I don't know when and how, but eating fast food and eating more than what we need.
Right.
I think it became normalized around people right now, that people are not aware of their actual habits, or
Americans eat shit food. Yeah. Anyway, they just do. The fast food is probably the worst health crisis facing the American people.
Exactly. So
it really is. You have to eat whole unprocessed food. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to do that diet myself, like a no sugar, no white carbs, because I want to lose weight. So if you want to lose weight or you want to be healthy, you have to eat whole unprocessed food. You can't be eating. The worst is people leaving work at night and getting fast food for dinner. Mm-hmm. It just totally messes with your gut. And I think then you won't get a good sleep, and then you won't be able to be a productive morning person.
Exactly. Also, as you're talking of eating early, I also came across an experience and also learnings from my past. It's like eating 80% of our stomach capacity is also actually helpful.
Oh, so, yeah, small portions.
Yeah, sometimes it's like if you eat full to your stomach, and sometimes people overeat, and that's the time people feel sleepy right after eating.
Oh, right.
But when a person eats 80% of their stomach capacity, or if the person stops eating once they feel
full, right,
something like that, then they can continue their productivity throughout the day without feeling sleepy or something like that.
Right. Now, I want to ask, do you exercise in the morning?
I want to. I try to. Yeah, it depends on schedules. Yeah.
You're not there yet. Mm-hmm. So Liz, who works here, mm-hmm. she gets up very early, and she goes to the gym first thing in the morning.
Nice.
I know. I have several friends who do that, where they work out almost right when they wake up. Mm-hmm. And they say that gives them a lot of energy through their day. That's my idea of health. Mm-hmm. But I can't imagine being at the gym at 6 a.m. But what I'm trying to do to wake up earlier is, because I still wish I was sleeping, because I'm used to being that night owl person, I found that waking up and meditating first thing in the morning is a nice transition, because you're almost half awake, half asleep. You're meditating, so you're waking up, but you're still in a restful state. Mm-hmm. And so, I go into yoga, and I found that going from waking up, like usually I wake up, I have a glass of water, use the restroom, but I have a glass of water to get my system like, okay, we're awake, something's happening. And then I sit at the yoga mat and I meditate and do light stretches and then meditate a little more. And then right now I'm doing about 25 minutes of yoga, just a little bit, but I want to do like a full 45 minutes or an hour. But I found that like easeful, gentle things like that, like makes me feel really energized and positive to start my day. And I feel more awake from doing it. And so if you're someone who wants to be a morning person, but you don't think you can go lift weights or go for a run that early because you're still groggy, maybe doing something more easeful like yoga is a way to incorporate a health practice and get you going in the day.
Exactly, yeah. So hope, thank you so much for your inputs, and I hope this community becomes stronger. And few things I want to touch base is what kind of questions or what kind of problems that people who wants to be a morning person are trying to solve or trying to get answers.
I think many people like myself who were night owls for most of their lives and want to be a morning person, it's because we feel like there's maybe not enough time in the day outside of your work, and that you're not being productive on your personal goals that are your outside of work goals. And I think, like for me, I feel like I want to be more of a morning person because I want that extra time to work on personal goals. And whether that goal is just incorporating an hour of yoga into your day or, writing, developing a writing practice or, making time for goal setting and intentions, that kind of thing. So I think a lot of people like have the idea in their mind that if they were more of a morning person, they would have more time to get their personal goals reached.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, similar thing I have experienced lately. As I was telling, I got more time being more free time in the morning.
Right.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah, more free time to work on your work that's not your paid work.
Exactly.
We never have enough time in the day, right?
Exactly. And any other problems that people feel like they want to improve on?
No.
For example, so some of the questions that I came up with are people who are using technology or social media more, and if they want to improve their usage of technology or reduce their screen time, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Does that like having a part of a morning community might be helpful for them? So where we are sharing so many insights or things to do that does not involve technology, maybe something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'm trying on. And the second one is on food habits, as we already discussed.
Yes, I think health and wellness is a huge part of what people would like to discuss with becoming morning people or being in a morning community.
Exactly. So third one I was thinking of sleeping, and the fourth one is time management. So it's like technology, food, sleep, and time.
Yeah.
So these are the four key points I'm thinking of. Like, do you
time management is a good one.
think any other?
And also getting on a schedule. I think like helping people, get on the schedule and not get frustrated. Like, it takes time to physically adapt to being a morning person if you're not naturally a morning person. You know, like my friend Taylor is naturally a morning person. He hates sleeping and he hates staying up late. He's always been a morning person. So he doesn't have to try to be one. His physiologically, that's just how his body works best. And I've always been a night owl, and my body always worked best being up late at night and sleeping in later. And so to change over for me, like, you have to do incremental steps. And if you say to yourself, like if you're waking up at 9:30 or 10 in the morning, or even later, I know people who wake up at 11 in the morning because they're up till 1 or 2 in the morning. If you're waking up at 11 in the morning, you can't say to yourself, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 7. You might wake up at 7, but you'll feel like crap. And you won't want to do it again.
Exactly.
So you have to incrementally say, tomorrow I'll wake up at 9:30. And do that for a whole week. You have to get your body, like your circadian rhythm, used to the changes.
Got it.
Or else you just want to give up on it because it made you feel sick. Like if you're, if you try to wake up 4 hours or 3 hours earlier than normal, your body is not going to like that. And you're not going to feel good. So to feel energized and have it feel good, you have to do a little bit at a time, and you have to do it over a couple of weeks.
Exactly. So I also came across this thing. Slow and steady is the fastest way to achieve anything.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. But people feel the other way.
Yeah.
So I also want to ask about, you're saying about some rhythm, right? What was that?
Wait, what?
Circadian rhythm or something?
Oh yeah, your circadian rhythm of your body. Your body has its own internal clock called your circadian rhythm.
Okay.
And it regulates, when you wake up, when you sleep, and it gets used to your patterns. It's aligned with your patterns.
Got it.
And it's aligned with the time zone you live in too. That's why if I flew to India right now, I would be so sick there, and my body, I would feel gross and like all disoriented and everything, because my circadian rhythm of when I wake up and when I go to sleep is backwards now because I'm in a different time zone. And so the same thing happens when you try to change your sleep to become a morning person. Your body rebels against it. And that's why you have to do it incrementally over time and work toward the goal of, I'm going to wake up earlier. Like the first 6 weeks that I worked at SEG, I felt like, oh, I can't do this. I feel sick. Oh, I feel horrible because I had to wake up, and back then I would sleep as long as possible. It would be like 7:45 and I'd be like, oh, I have to get up. And so I really had to get in the habit, and I had to get my body in that habit of changing my circadian rhythm and getting up earlier. So that's why it's really important to know that you can do it, but it's going to take time. It's going to take weeks, maybe a few months to get your body, used to it, unless you're someone who's just born a morning person.
Exactly. So thank you so much. Yeah, it's actually feel helpful and valued because it's coming from your real-time experience being a night owl and transitioning to an early bird, something.
And I'm going to be hopefully an even earlier bird. I want to eventually wake up at like 6 or 6:30 every day. So I have to get there. Right now I woke up at 7. And it's hard for me to wake up before 7, but I'm like, I have to start, adjusting and doing that over time, so that I have time for my yoga in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think
and I love your idea for a morning community. I think yoga should be a part of it once it becomes, any in-person meeting you have. Also, another fun activity for morning people is a lot of morning people are dog owners, right? Because they have to wake up to walk their dog.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people who are morning people, it's because they're walking their dog. And so a fun community get together, maybe once a month, would be like a community dog meetup at the park.
That's interesting point. I mean, I did not think of pet owners initially because I don't have a pet. So
yeah,
that's a good perspective.
But
that's why I'm like trying to brainstorm with others.
So that's how I started waking up at 7:30. Was I washed my friend's dog over the summer, and I had to wake up at like 7, like no later than 7:30. The dog wanted me to wake up at 7. He was wiggling at 7. So I had to wake up to walk him, and then once you go for a walk, you're awake. You've had air, you've moved your body. And so taking a dog for a walk is the best way to become a morning person. But I think that when it comes to community ideas of how to connect the community, I think meeting up to everybody walk their dog or do a dog meetup at the park would be fun for the morning community.
Exactly. Yeah, that's an interesting point too. Yeah. And any other things that you want to touch base on?
I don't think so.
Sure.
But I hope I helped you with some ideas.
Yes. Actually, yeah, it's actually helpful. Thank you for taking your time. I think I already take a little longer than 30 minutes. Yeah.
That's okay, but
Yeah.
thank you, Marisa.
Thank you so much. Yeah.